Phantomaniacs, welcome to the newest unboxing here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. Today we are looking at the new Super 7 ReAction Plus Wild Bill, complete with his 5-fingered, 1-thumbed hand. That's right, that is a key marker that AI was likely used to do the art on this packaging, which means I have zero interest in collecting the packaging, but I still love the figures. Got a cross-sell on the back of the nice sturdy card, as well as a file card that we'll do at some point on Audible Interlude, a G.I. Joe podcast, which is available wherever you get your podcasts, and alternating Mondays here on the Needless Things YouTube channel. I want to do a profile on these ReAction Plus file cards, just to give them a run through and check them out. So here is Sunbow Wild Bill. I think so. There were a number of looks in the cartoon that were significantly different from the figures that we had when we were kids, and I think Wild Bill is probably a lot of people's top look because it's not just different. Like Airborne is weird different, and I want a Sunbow Airborne for sure, but he's kind of weird different. Whereas Wild Bill, it could be argued that this look is, I don't know that it's better. Maybe it couldn't be argued that it's better, but it's a good look. It's a good, different look. So let's go ahead and open this up. Wild Bill, helicopter pilot. Let's get this card out of here and see if the figure holds up, which, I mean, right off the bat, those bright colors look great. He's got his little gimmick here. Oh, includes pistol and communication pack. I love that. Go ahead and do a little zoom. I love that Super 7 is doing the old. This was one of my favorite parts of the old G.I. Joe packaging, was the list of accessories, because a lot of times you didn't know exactly what something was, or it might have a name for the weapon or whatever the case may be. I love that little side verbiage there. So I love that Super 7 does that, because I would not necessarily have known that this was a communication pack. The amount of tape that Super 7 uses to secure these accessories seems a little unnecessary. Oh my gosh. And sometimes the fit of the tray is not the best. There we go. Seems like we have two modes on these trays. The fit is either too loose and we got to tape it in, or it's so tight that you can't get it out. We'll take a look at the accessories in a second. First, we're going to look at Wild Bill. Look at that glorious mustache, those sunglasses, or dark jeeters, as my dad would call them, as Lieutenant Colonel Mongoose would call them. I mean, he looks great. The sculpt is nice. He's got the emblems on either sleeve. He's got the pockets on his flight suit. Nice sharp sculpt. Can sit down nicely. He's got his belt buckle. Man, this is great. This is a Wild Bill. It would never replace the original Wild Bill, but it's definitely a look I've wanted since I was a kid. Also, I didn't mention on yesterday's Cold Slithers Artan, but it does seem like the O-rings fit a little bit better on these. He's not suffering from the weird too small O-ring syndrome. He's great. I want to put him in a Dragonfly like right now. So a little something extra that I'm doing now when I review these, because I now have the G.I. Joe Field Manual, which is a reference to the Sunbow cartoon. So we can go back here in the index, look for Wild Bill. He is on page 147. And this is a kind of an expensive tome now. I still don't understand why I didn't buy it back when it came out in 2009 or 10 or something like that. Actually, you know what? I'm curious enough to see what the date is on this thing. This was originally released in 2012. And I have no recollection of it being offered. I was still actively in comic shops at the time. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't get this and the Volume 2. The Volume 2 costs more than the Volume 1 now. Volume 1 references... Well, anyway. So what we have here is the, key art for Sunbow. So we can do a little comparison. And take a look. Let's see. We can get those hands up on those hips. Can we fake that out a little bit? Turn that head. And look at that. The pockets could probably, like these side pockets, could probably stand to be facing front just a bit more. But the problem with that is the seam where the two thigh parts are joined is right here. But they probably still could have moved it to right next to that seam and been a little more, just a little more accurate. I'm not worried about it, but just something I noticed. He's got his belt buckle. Again, he's got the logos, so this is looking pretty good. Take a look at his communications pack. Really nicely sculpted. It is a softer plastic, so this is not rigid and brittle. It's not going to snap on you. We'll get that on like he's got it on in this image, which is different from the card art. And the card art, it's going over the other way, but we're going to put it on like that. It seems like it might be a little long, but also who knows in the cartoon how this might have changed from this design. We all know the Sunbow stuff was somewhat inconsistent. That's great. And then finally, that blaster, little paint, which is, I just don't even find necessary, but there it is. Pop that in his hand. Fits really nicely. Let's get that book out of the way. Oh, look at that. What is up with Wild Bill's action pose on the back of this book? With, by the way, revolvers, which I do not believe is accurate to the cartoon at any point. But he's doing some kind of crazy... I don't remember Wild Bill ever being quite that dynamic on the show. But there you go. If you need that on your shelf, you can make that happen. That's hilarious. I'm glad I happened to flip that over. So there he is, Wild Bill, your Dragonfly pilot. Will we get a Sunbow Dragonfly from Super 7? Extremely unlikely, but I am glad. I want any look that is unique to the cartoon. What I would like to see, ideally, lineup-wise for me, I'd like to see in each wave 2 characters that are just like the Sunbow versions, that are minorly different from the figures. 1 character that, like Wild Bill, is a huge departure from his original character, and then 1 that is strictly a Sunbow character. That I would love that, but we'll see what the lineups hold as the line moves forward. But for now, there's Wild Bill. I think he's great. I'm thrilled to have him, and he's going on the shelf. I don't mix these with my regular vintage Joes. This is a new line to me, completely new line, so they have their own shelf. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about Needless Things, and until next time, buy what you like.
Smash that like button if you like Needless Things.